area here, this area right in here is 6 test beds. This is the last stop before one of our units is shipped to a customer. This is an LX, which is the more rectangular shaped model, and the EX model, which are the 3 you'll look at down there. The boiler itself is probably about half the size of a tractor trailer truck. You can see this is a whole lot smaller and works far more efficiently. They're test fired for about an hour before they're sent to their customers. The big stainless steel chimneys, of course, is for the exhaust. We have 3 different fuel sources here for them. There's 6 test beds where each boiler is usually fired for about an hour. And this is the EX series, which runs also on natural gas, propane, or fuel oil. What we have over here are parts in the inventory area. All the pressure vessel components have to be made to a very strict construction code called ASME. And every step of the process is very rigidly controlled for obvious reasons, because if a pressure vessel is not made correctly, it can be dangerous. Everything we use to manufacture boilers starts out back here in this area, and they have to be very strictly controlled, because not only do we have to build to ASME certification, we also have to build to UL, Underwriter Laboratory certification. Next, we'll move over here. Is where the pressure vessel is covered in insulation. There's some paint work done on it. A small unit here that's just getting ready to be painted and then sent over here for final assembly work. All of the fuel assemblies, pressure control, valves, everything that actually makes the unit tick is put on here by this crew. So there's a whole lot of wrench work going on inside here. A fire tube boiler is like what you have in your basement probably, which is your hot water heater, which is a big tank of water with tubes running through it with fire passing through it. Our design is what's known as a water tube boiler, where you have a chamber with tubes in it and the water passes through the tubes. The heat source, the ignition, is inside the chamber, and all of the heat is transferred into the water inside these tubes. That's why you see these fins attached to it, which increase the surface area. This robot behind me here goes through and puts these fins on the side. This is what an assembled pressure vessel, this is almost complete. And you can see how the fire goes inside the pressure vessel, goes in through a gap, goes between the tubes and goes out the other side, extracting all the heat energy you can out of the fire, which is what makes our design much more energy efficient. Here you have a almost completed pressure vessel. This one is just about ready to send on down the line so that we can put what we call castable refractory in the bottom of it, which is done down there. That's like a very fine ceramic cement, which goes into the bottom. Once it dries, we flip it, put some more up in there. This is a completed pressure vessel here. Cold water goes in the bottom, fire inside. The steam comes out the top. What this big round unit here is a steam separator. So the way this works is the steam comes out and goes into a circular motion, because you'll see it's angled off inside there, and it spins it, sort of like the spin cycle in your washing machine. Moisture comes down and gets in here and gets back to work while the steam goes out the top. Whatever you need steam for, that's how it gets there. We use a whole lot of jigs to make sure that the work is repetitive and is always the same. Now, one of the things you have to do after you have finished a pressure vessel, it has to be heat treated. And what heat treatment means is you take that steel pressure vessel after it's all welded together and everything's good to go, you have to put it in a furnace and heat it up to about 1250 degrees and hold it that way for about 4 hours. What this does is relieve all the stress on the welds. Right now we're having to ship these pressure vessels off to do it. In June, we have our own oven, which is coming to take up this area here. There's some railroad tracks that's going to go inside there that move a large cart in and out of an oven. So we'll be able to cook 3 or 4 pressure vessels at a time in it. This factory was designed to produce 1,000 of these things a year. Our first year we're going to make about 100 is the plan. because we're still teaching everybody what they have to do to make your pressure vessels and to put the rest of the boiler together and test it and get it out. At full capacity with full manning, you're looking at 1,000 of these things a year.
And this one itself is